My child, I came to save that which we lost. So great was the fall of the human race that its restoration demanded such an humiliation of the Son of God. Man had sunk into the abyss of pride. In lowliness I came down and entered the abyss to snatch him from there. Before I came into the world, pride had so far darkened and corrupted the minds of nations that they not only did not know or did not acknowledge humility as a virtue, but on the contrary deemed it weakness of soul, and were shocked. For when they knew God, whose light is placed as a seal upon the human heart, they glorified him not as God. They became vain in their thoughts, and their foolish heart was darkened. They grew corrupt and abominable in their desires. Thus well had all flesh corrupted its way. What could be better and more effective to free the world from so great and baneful an error than the example of a God, supremely wise and perfect, abasing himself unto emptiness, thus confounding all human pride, and refuting for ever its false reasoning and pretenses. Pride, my child, has ever been and will continue to be the source of all evils, but humility is the principle of all good things. Truth begets humility, which is the virtue of virtues, and charity gives its life and form. First of all, then, thoroughly know yourself and God, that you may attribute to God the things which are of God, and to yourself what is your own. Take care, therefore, my child, to understand what you are of yourself. What are you of yourself? What except a mere nothing, out of which God created you? This nothingness is your own, but the being which you are is of God. If you think that you are something, whereas of yourself you are nothing, you deceive and mislead yourself. What do you possess of yourself, by nature or by grace? In the order of nature you have indeed the powers of the soul, the senses of the body, the gifts of the mind, the outward qualities of person. But where did all these things, of whatever kind they may be, come to you? Whose are they? Take away that which God made and gave to you, and what remains except nothingness? This latter again is your own. The former is of God. In giving you these things he gave them for an end, that they might use them for his glory, and for your salvation. If you have ever made use of all and every one of them for that end, you have only done what you was obliged to do. If at any time you have made an ill use of them, behold, besides your nothingness you claim also as your own ungratefulness, forwardness, and the misspending of God's favours. Now what are you in the order of grace, my child? Is this not a fathomless abyss? It is certain that of yourself, without the help of grace, you possess nothing of which can promote your salvation. You can do nothing to save yourself. Therefore, whatever you have of the supernatural order, whatever virtues, whatever merits you may possess, all these are the effects of grace, without which they could not have even been begun, much less brought to perfection. If, then, God rewards these things in you, he does but crown his own gifts. It is indeed true, my child, that to acquire these things you did cooperate with grace, but this very cooperation, if duly considered, what does it disclose? It is evident by faith that you must one day give a strict account of every grace, for you are obliged to cause each grace to produce its fruit by your cooperation. Did not this consideration fill the very saints with the lowliest sentiments? What thoughts, then, must these force upon you, who so often do not cooperate with grace, not even a little? If you are unable to count the shortcomings of your cooperation with grace, ponder the number and magnitude of the debts you have contracted by the neglect or ill use of the gifts of God, in addition to your own nothingness and powerlessness. In the order of grace, my child, if you rightly consider the obligation of cooperating with God's grace, and of making a proper use of his gifts, even of those in the natural order, you will understand, as the saints understood it, that the more and the greater the favours you have received, greater the reason you have for deeply humbling yourself. But they are things worse and more humiliating. hidden from the sight. See and examine your manifold miseries, offences, and sins, and weigh well what you have justly deserved. Had you received what is rightly due, should you not have felt the contempt of all the inhabitants of heaven, of earth, and of hell, and suffered everlasting degradation by now? And if, perhaps, you have done nothing on account of which you deserve to be cast away, you still have no cause to be elated, for, who being kept from grievous faults, is not your own doing, but chiefly the work of grace. Even more, by one venial transgression committed against the infinite majesty of God, you deserve greater humiliations than the world can inflict upon you. What then, my child? What are you? What compared with all men? Nothing more than a drop of water compared with all the oceans. And how are all men viewed in connection with all the myriads of angels? Assuredly less than this earth is to be boundless heaven. And what are all the angels in comparison with God himself? Behold, they are as if they were not, because the difference is infinite. Now compared with the infinite God, what are you? A puny being, dwelling in a little corner of this globe. What are you in truth, my child, or what do you possess to make you proud? What have you for which you should not humble yourself? I do not say these things to cause you to blush, but to give you a warning. You, well-beloved child of my heart, lest being misled by pride,